Hello everyone, this is Sandeep Dev. Welcome to Illustrator. Today I'm going to explain the process of structural analysis and design, the advanced structural analysis and design in StatPro Connect Edition. I have already promised all of you in my different social media platforms that I'm going to create a total series of advanced tutorials on StatPro and RCDC. So this video is one of them. And this is the structure analysis and design, and in next video I'm going to explain the process of design and detailing of different structural members in RCDC. So without any delay, let's start. So just I'm going to create a new structure, so click on new, and I'm going to give the name of the structure. It's totally up to you what name you want to give. And this is a G+4 structure, so I have given G+4 structure, and this is the folder where you want to save the structure. I'm going to create the structure on using the metric units. So metric I have chosen and click on create. So this is my StatPro interface, and I'm going to create this structure here where I have the center line spacings for all the columns. And so let me create a reference node. So this is the node here, and let's go to the top view of the and select this node. I'm going to translational repeat in X direction, and I have 5 spacings here. So this one is 3.775, then this one is 3.588, again 2.675, this one is 3.588, and again 3.775, and click on link steps. Okay, now I'm going to replicate these beams. So select beam cursor and replicate, select the beams and geometry translational repeat on minus negative X Z directions, so 4.2 as per my plan. And I'm not, you can link the steps now, and okay. Again I'm going to select the nodes now, and same the process, Z direction minus 4.2 is in negative Z direction. I'm not going to click link steps because these two nodes are shifted outside. You can see these two columns are not in the same line, it's shifted 0.25 meters, means 250 mm out. So just click on this and node tools, move, and this is in negative X direction 0.25, yes, and this is in positive X direction. So just node tools and move, and it will be 0.25. This modeling process is totally up to you. Everyone has their own approach, so I'm not going to ask anyone to follow the same process. You may have a different approach of creating the model. So it's totally up to you. If you are new, you can follow my process, otherwise you can create by your own process. Now I'm going to create the beam with perpendicular intersection here on these two beams. So I have created the beam plan here. Now I'm going to copy this, select the whole beam plan and Control C and V, and in Y direction I'm going for 2.4 meters, which is 1.5 meter foundation depth and 0.9 meters my plinth level. So click on OK. So if you see, I have the beam plan at the 2.4 meter height. Now again I'm going to select the nodes, and I'm going to leave these two nodes, this one and this one, because these nodes, at this node there is no column, and go to geometry and beam along y-axis. So now if you go to the isometric view, you can see the columns and beams we have created. Now in the front view I'm going to delete the beams at the bottom. This is the foundation level, and we don't want any beam here. If you have any foundation beam, then you can keep it like that. It's totally up to you. Now I'm going to create the plates. So view, let's just select these beams and go to the top view. I don't want this beam to be selected because I don't want it in plate here. Here I want to create a floor for the stair, which is different. You can see in few minutes. So just create a plate here, geometry, add plate and infill plates. Okay, is there, just check whether the plates are created everywhere or not. Okay, here I need to create the plates again. So select beam cursor. If you select these beams and if you create, go and infill plates. Okay, so we have created the plates and the beams and columns here. So I need to define the properties, section properties. So go to properties. It's same as StatPro V8i. Just the tabs are there in even at the top. In V8i it is at this side. So go to define, and for rectangle section I'm going to define the column section as 0.45. Means my column section will be 300 mm by 450 mm, and my beams will be 230 by 450. Add, close. This is the initial size. You may need to change this size after during the design, and I'm going to provide a slab thickness of 150 mm. Add, close. Now go to select this one, the column size. Go to select, parallel to Y, assign to selected beams, assign again parallel to X. This one, select this one first, parallel to X and parallel to Z, and assign to selected beams, assign yes. And I'm going to select all the plates using my plate cursor, and first select the section and all the plates, assign to selected plates. Okay, now I'm going to define the loads. So go to load case detail, and if you are going for seismic analysis, you need to define the seismic load cases, static seismic load cases first. Add and EZ, add. Then I'm going to define the dead load and live load, which is less than or equal 3 kN. If you have a live load greater than 3 kN, you should create another live load case here. So why greater than and less than 3 kN? Because in seismic analysis, if you have a live load of 3 kN or less than it, then we should consider 25% of that live load for seismic weight calculation. And if you have greater than 3 kN live load, then you need to consider 50% of the live load. So in that case, we need to define 2 live load cases so that the software can differentiate between the 2 types of live loads. So you can see here in our case, in residential structure, we have only the highest load, live load is 3 kN here. So we are not going for that one, the live load, another case. Okay, so let's define the dead load cases. Add and go to the self weight, add, then member loads. So for outer beams, it is, if you are considering 250 mm wall thickness, then 0.25 multiplied by 3 minus 0.45 means the 3 is the floor height, and we need to deduct 450 mm beam depth and multiplied by 10, which is the unit weight of masonry. Masonry means here I am considering AAC block. If you are considering red brick, then you should consider 19.2. So in global Z direction, ZY direction, it will be minus 6.375. Okay, minus 6.375 you can calculate. Add, and for internal beams, the inner walls, it will be 3.1875, means 125 mm wall thickness I have considered, and the remaining process is same. click on add, and for parapet wall, which is 1 meter height, we are going to get the value of dead load 1.25 in GY direction, and then we are going for plate load. So let's go to the plate loads, and we are going to consider 2 kN of plate load, dead load, which is for the tiles and other floor finish loads. Click on add, close. So these are the live dead loads here. Let's define the live load also, add, and live load will be on the plates only. So click on plate, and I'm going to consider the live load of 2 kN in negative GDY direction. Okay, so these are my live loads and dead loads, and the same dead load and live load we are going to define the reference load definition in order to calculate the seismic weight. So go to reference load definition and click on add, and I'm going to create a mass source, okay, mass load case for dynamic seismic analysis, and then for static we are going to create the dead load and live load case, DL, and for live it will be L smaller than or equal 3 kN. Okay, and close. The same load cases we need to define here. For dead load, same process, self weight, add, member load minus 6.375 in GY direction, add, minus 3.1875 in GY direction, add, minus 1.25 in GY direction also, add. Then plate load it will be minus 2 kN in GY direction, add, close. Again the live load, add, it will be plate load of minus 2 kN in GY direction, add. Now we are going to define the mass. So always remember, in mass load case we need to consider the absolute value of the loads, the dead load and live load, and live load will be 25%, and if you have greater than 3 kN live load, then we need to consider the 50% of the live load, and we need to define the loads in absolute value. There will be no negative sign, and in 3 directions. So self weight, it will be in X direction, add, in Y direction, add, and in Z direction, add. Again the member loads, we have 6.375 in GX, means global X, global Y, and global Z. Okay, now 3.1875 in global X, global Y, and global Z. Okay, now 1.25 in global X, global Y, and global Z. Okay, now we need to consider the plate loads of 2 kN in global X, global Y, and global Z. And again we have 25% of live load. So the 2 kN is our live load, and it's 25% 0.5 kN in global X, global Y, and global Y, and global Z. Okay, so click on close. So this load we need to assign. I'm not going to assign the self weight now because we need to create the whole structure, then we need to define the self weight. Otherwise we need to define the self weight again. So now we're going to create a group of different members. So let's go to the view and top view, and if you just go to select and beam cursor, if you select these outer beams, now you can click on Ctrl Z for group and give a name, floor beam out, means the outer floor beams, and the type will be beam. Okay, and click on associate to selected geometry, associate. Now create another group, floor beam in, and associate to selected geometry, beam, click on OK. Now select the internal beams. By clicking the control, you can select all the beams together and click on associate to selected geometry, associate. Now we are going to create floor slab and it will be plate type. Now by the plate cursor you can select the plates and associate to selected geometry, associate. Now easily you can assign the loads actually. So select this one, highlight. I'm going to assign these loads here. Again this one, highlight, assign to selected beams. Once check, yeah, this one, assign to selected beams, assign, yes, and we're going to select the slabs here. So this one, assign to selected plates, assign, yes. So this 1.25 we are going to define assign afterwards when we'll be creating this the top floor, which is the terrace floor. Okay, so the same way we need to assign this values also, highlight. Okay, and again the mass values, okay, in all the three directions. Okay, now the inner beams. This is the parapet wall, so we will be leaving here now, and this is our plate loads. So select the plate loads. So the same, the live loads also plate loads. So assign the live loads also here. So below we have left this one, the live load for the plate. Yeah, same here also, the live load. So we have defined all the loads. Now we can replicate the structure upwards. So just to go to geometry and let's create in top the front view and select geometry and select all the geometry here and geometry and translational repeat. G plus 4 means 5 stories of 3 meter height, floor height in y direction, and we are not going to connect the nodes. Okay, now we'll be going to the top view and we're going to select the nodes. We're going to select all the nodes except these two, and here this one. Now we'll be going to the front view, and you can see the nodes at the bottom also is selected. We need to deselect it. Press Ctrl and deselect these nodes. Now go to geometry and just to go to beam parallel to y-axis. So it will connect all the nodes in the y-axis. So once just save the file, otherwise the software may crash. So for you it won't be able to. It can't be possible to access the model again. So now for these vertical members we need to define the properties. See, these vertical members are not assigned to any member property. So select this, the column property, and select the beam parallel to y and assign these selected beams. Okay, so now we'll be going to loading, and the dead load in dead load. For floors we do not have any, let us consider we do not have any dead load. If you have any floor, actually a terrace, like waterproofing and all, you can consider the load here. But in terrace you can consider the live load and plate loads of minus 1.5 kN as per 875 part 2, and you can assign this here. So before assigning it, so this live load, we'll be assigning this live load only on the roof, right? So the same thing we need to define here also in the live load plate loads. So it will be minus 1.5 in GY direction, and close the mass also. We need to assign the plate load. So now here 25%, okay, 1.5 multiplied by 25% of its, so it is 0.375, okay. So 0.375 in GX, add GY, and GZ, add close. Now first of all we need to remove the loads at the terrace. So just select geometry and select the terrace floor and view selected. Now we are going to remove the loads here. So again you can't call your group because the group is only for the basement floor. So just select these beams and you already know these beams, we have assigned this load. So just click on toggle load and assign yes. So there will be no load. And now select the inner beams, okay. So this one, toggle load, assign to selected beams, assign yes. Again same we need to do here. Okay, let me toggle this load also, this one. So select your plates and toggle load, assign to selected plates, assign same. This live load, toggle load, assign to selected plates, assign. Means we need to remove these loads from the structure, okay. Same here. Let us do it here. So beam cursor, select the outer beams only, and assign to selected toggle load, means going to change the loads, remove the loads, okay. Now select this inner beams and this load, toggle load, assign to selected, okay. Now select the plates, this one, okay, assign to selected plates, assign toggle load, yes. We are going to remove this also, assign to selected plate, assign. Same here in the mass, this one you can see. So just go to the beam cursor and select the outer beams again. This is only for the top floor, terrace floor, because at the terrace floor we don't have these loads, okay. Assign to selected beams, assign yes. Same this one, yes. Same this one, yes. Now for the inner beams, if you beam cursor and select these beams, okay, these all the beams. If you go here, toggle load, assign to selected plates, assign to selected beams, assign to selected beams, assign, okay. Now the plate loads, okay. So go to select and plate cursor, just select all the plates here, okay. So these loads, you can see we are removing all these loads, okay. Now this 0.5 Now so you can see we have removed all the loads. I think something is left here. Just let's see which load is left. I think for this small beam something is left, so select the beams here, the small part. Let's see which load is remaining. Okay, this one. For the small part, it is remaining. These three loads. Okay, we need to remove it actually. So go to geometry. If you go to the select and view and top view, you can select the small beams, I think. Okay, so it is not, it is considering a whole beam here. No problem. Let's see. So we go to loading and this one is not defined here, only this one, mass source, reference mass. Okay, this one. Let's see if we can remove it or not. No, we can't remove it actually. Yes. So what we need to do, we need to divide this part actually. We need to divide this part here. So let's just delete this beam here. Okay. So here we have two beams. So we can create the select. Just create a beam, add beam, right to here, and select this beam and assign the property also. Otherwise there will be issue. It may happen sometimes, don't worry about it. Just select this beam, assign to selected beams, assign, yes. So now if you go to loading, we need to provide all the loadings here. Okay, no dead load will be there, only live. Okay, dead load, this one, assign to selected beams, assign, yes. Sorry, no, it will be not there. So now we can remove the mass. If you go to the mass, and you can see these loads here. So you can select these two beams separately, these two beams, and we can remove these. Assign to selected beams, assign, and this one also. So you can see at the top of the just see whether everything is fine or not. Yeah, so at the top of the structure, which is our terrace floor, we have removed all the loads. Now we are going to assign the loads here at the outer periphery. We are going to assign the parapet wall loads. Okay, so go to dead load. This is our parapet wall load. Now just uncheck this toggle load, assign to selected beams, assign, yes. And it's the same here. We are going to do. Okay, let's provide this plate load also. Select plate cursor, select all the plates, assign to selected plates, assign, yes. So again we need to select the beams, the outer beams. Here we have 1.25 kilonewton, okay, already defined here, and the load cases also we need to define. 1.25 kilonewton selected beams, assign, yes. Okay, here we have left. This one we'll do it afterwards. Let's define these nodes first. Assign to selected beams, assign yes, and this one assign yes. Okay, now this plate nodes we need to assign here. Select all the plates, assign to selected plates, assign. This is only for roof, right? So we need to assign on the roof only. So again we have this one 1.5 kilonewton. So if you go to the isometric view, you can see the loads we have assigned here. See, this load is still here. We need to remove this load from here. Okay. So go to beam cursor. If you select this beam, this smaller beam, again we need to go to view and here the smaller beam and this one. We need to remove this toggle load assigned to selected beams, assign yes. I hope it is removed now. Okay, yeah, no other and this is our plate load. Okay, and now we can go to display whole structure, and now we can define, we can assign all the self weights. So assign to view, yes. Here also self weight, assign to view, assign yes, and here all the three self weights we can assign to view. You can see it looks very tedious because there are so many loads we have defined. Just click on save, otherwise you may end up crashing the file. So the loading process is already finished. Now the last loading we have left, which is our stair loading, right? So go to the top view of the structure. Just go to this top view and select this part, select beams. I am going to select this part only, okay, not this small beams also. Okay, let me just view geometry. Let me just mesh the plates first. So what we are going to do, select plate cursor, select all the plates and plate tool, mesh place. So we can't mesh it like that. Let's just select it and create a new view and go to the top view of the structure. Now if you right click and labels, if you see the orientation, so you can see every single plate has different orientation. So the plate having same orientation we are going to mesh together. So these 4 plates, okay, and these 2 and this one, okay, we can mesh. So you can see no, this one is totally different. This one is totally different. We can't mesh it together. Just this 2, this one, okay, this 2 and this one, okay. So you can see the starting point is from here, x, z and y, x, z and y, like that. So this is a, b, b, c, c, d and d, like that. So go to plate tools and plate mesh, and you can find, see, AB, these values. So this is AB. So I'm going to give 5/10 meshing and OK, and we'll be going for quadrilateral meshing and click on OK. The software is going to create the meshing for this plates. Okay. So after creating all the mesh, just save the structure. Don't forget to save the structure frequently. Now this plate has different orientation, so go to plate and plate mesh. Now you can see it is starting from this side, so we are going for 10/5. Okay, click click on OK. Quadrilateral meshing, OK. Done. Now these two are same. I select these two from this side. So this side I want 5 and this side I want 10. So 5 by 10 again. Plate tools and plate mesh. It will be 5, 5, OK. Quadrilateral meshing, OK. So the meshing is done for the plates. So I am going to level again, plate orientation, OK. So you can see here in the view that our plate meshing is done. So I am going to call the whole structure, go to the top view of the structure and just go to select and beam, and this is our stair part. So I am going to make it a separate part, select it like that, and just don't select these beams, just press Ctrl and remove these beams. Okay. Otherwise select very precisely, okay. Very precisely, still it is selecting very precisely like that, and we have to remove these beams actually. Okay, no problem. I'm going to so we need to select this very precisely, just make it a much bigger. Still it is selecting, no problem. Just need to deselect this part, Control and yeah. So let's check in the, so here you can see we have selected only the stair part. Okay, so click on selected objects. So we want to see this part only. Now go to the front view of the structure and call your group, Ctrl Z, and I'm going to create group for this floor, every single floor separately. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to create stair floor 1, and here I'm going to define it as a floor. Okay, again SF2. So I have defined the 6 stair floors. Now go to the geometric select and beam cursor and select the below, the first one, first floor, associate geometry. The second one, second SF, associate. Third one, 3, associate. Fourth one, 4, associate. Fifth one, 5, associate. And sixth one, 6, associate. So again check properly whether your assignments are fine or not. Okay, so now we are going to define give the loads here. So for stair we have dead load of 3 kN and live load of 3 kN. Dead load live 3 kN means the weight slab and the steps, and the live load 3 kN, which is given in the 875 part 2. Okay, so go to dead load and we are going for floor load now, not plate load, floor load. We are for group SF1, global Y direction, and now it is going to be one way. Now see, if you select this longer direction, then it will be one way like that, this side and this side, but we want this side and this side, the load distribution. So we need to select the towards this beam. So select, if you click on select towards 37, okay, towards this beam, and the dead load will be -3 kN. add same for SF2 towards 94, add SF3 towards 133, add SF4 towards 172, add SF5 towards 211, add SF6 towards 250, and close. So you can see the loads we have defined like that. Okay. So now we'll be defining the live load in the same manner. Add flow load. Sorry, not this one. Flow load. There is flow load. Yeah, flow load. We'll do minus 3 kN and fast forwarding it. So yeah, I have defined the live loads here. Same thing I need to do in case of seismic weight also. So reference load, dead load, same process. And again for live load also. So we have defined the live loads and dead loads in the mass also. Now we need to for the static mass. Now we need to define for the dynamic mass, and it will be absolute value in both the directions. Okay. So we have 3 kN of dead load and another 3 kN of live load. So 25% of the live load, 3 multiplied by 25%, if you find, it is almost 0.75. So we are going to define it together, 3.75. Okay, in all the 3 directions. Okay, mass, add, and flow load group SF. So 3.75 one way towards 37, global X, add. Okay, global Y, add, global Z, add. SF2, same process I am going to repeat in all the directions. So yeah, so our mass load calculation, mass load definition is complete. So again, save your structure, otherwise it may crash, and go to your code structure. Okay, so view and display code structure. So this is our code structure. Now what we are going to define, we are going to define the seismic definition. So go to seismic definition and add, and we are going to consider the IS 1893-2016. So let's find it. Yeah, IS 1893-2016. Yeah, and go to generate. So we'll be going for zone 5. The zone 5, the value 0.36 for zone 5 as per IS 1893, and we are going for RC special moment resisting frame as we are in earthquake zone 5, and our building type is residential and commercial building, and with importance factor I equal to 1.2, and our type is medium soil, and our RC moment resisting building. Damping ratio 5% and foundation depth we are going to consider 1.5. Sorry, it will be 1.5 meters. Okay, now these two values also we need to consider, and I'll calculate it first. So just click on generate, and we'll come back again here and click on add, close. So now reference load, and we need to take the dead load of 100%, that means the factor will be 1, and the live load, as our live load is less than 3 kN, so we are going to consider 25% of library, and it will be along y direction. Click on add. So it is not completed actually. We need to find the px and pz, the fundamental time period of the structure. So we haven't actually modeled the infill walls here, so it is not possible to ask the computer, means the software, to get the time period, because it will consider as a bare frame. So we need to just calculate. So the formula for calculating the time period for infill walls as per IS 1890-2016, it is TA equal to 0.09, okay, multiplied by h and root under d. So d means if you are finding the x direction value, so d means the width of the structure in the x direction and width of the structure in the z direction if you are finding the z direction value. So let's find the width first. So go to the top view, and if you select the node cursor, so this is x0 and this is, sorry, z0 it was, and z 8.4. so the width of d in the z direction it is, so we are finding d value. So in the z direction it is 8.4 meters, and in y direction, sorry, in the x direction it is 17.401 meter. Okay, 17.401. It is 17.401 meters. And if you find the h, so the height of the structure, if you model the stair room, then you have to consider the stair room height also. So select the node cursor and select this node, double click, and you will get 17.40 is the height in the y direction. So our height is 17.4 meters. Okay, so we need to find TA for x. It will be 0.09 multiplied by 17.4 divided by 7 root under 17.401. So let's find the answer. So it is 0.09 multiplied by 17.4 and divided by root under 17.401. So the answer is 0.375. 0.375 in seconds. Okay. Now TA for z direction it is 0.09 multiplied by 17.4 and root under 8.4. Okay, so we'll be calculating it, and the answer is 0.54. 0.54 second. So we need to put these values. One is 0.375 for x. So again, just edit this one, the seismic load that we have defined, this one, edit, and in the px it will be 0.375 and pz it will be 0.54. okay, modify, close. So I have defined the static seismic load here, and now we can go with the static load case definition. So click on EX and go to seismic load and X direction factor 1 and close. Same for EZ, add seismic load, and for Z direction factor 1 add close. Okay, so in order to apply these seismic lateral loads in the vertical members, we need to define the diaphragm. So StatPro is having rigid diaphragm. So once just save the model and go to specifications, and what we need to get first, we need to get the height of the structure first, this every point, because we are going to define the diaphragms for every floor. So we need to get the height of for every floor. So this is 2.4. You can write it somewhere. So first one is 2.4, and then 5.4, then 8.4, then it is 11.4, 14.4, and we have 17.4. Okay, so just go to nodes and go to flow diagram, and you can see this is the type rigid, and just give the height. First one is 2.4, then add again node flow diaphragm. It will be second one, which is 5.4, add, then again node flow diaphragm, and second one is 8.4, add, again you need to repeat this process for all the flows. So 11.4, then 14.4, and again 17.4. If you define the stair room, then at that head also you need to define the diaphragm and the diaphragm. So 17.4. Now you can see, if you click on this highlight assign geometry, you can see the okay. If you go to specification, it is not showing actually. So it is defined all the flows at 2.4, 5.4, 8.4, 11.4, 14.4, and diaphragm 6. Okay, so now what we are going to do, we are going to define the modification factor, stiffness modification factor, which is explained in the IS 1893. If you see here, that for beams and columns we need to reduce the stiffness of the beam and column to consider the crack section. Okay, so if you go to here, go a little bit down. You can see these values, the response reduction factors are there, and it is written here that 25% and 50% we should use if it is including 3 kN and more than 3 kN. Okay, so you can find this TA value also. See this one, so this one. Let me find this actually first. Yeah, so you can see here, so you can see here, so what it says, for 70% of I gross for columns and 35% of I gross for beams in case of RC masonry structures. Okay, RC and masonry structures. So we need to consider 70% of stiffness and 35% of stiffness for column and beam respectively. So go to beam, and if you go to property reduction factor and code specific IS 1892/16, and we will be reducing this moment of inertia. So one will be 0.7, 0.7 for column, and again beam property reduction factor, it will be 0.35 and 0.35 here, add. Okay, and there is another thing, release, but I'll explain this part in another topic, another video. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to provide the stiffness modification. So go to select parallel to Y for the columns, assign to selected beams and assign yes. This one, reduction factor. Now this is for beams, so parallel to X, parallel to Z, and assign to selected beams, assign. So now I'm going to define the response spectrum load case here. Okay, as we are not going for the only the dynamic static analysis, so the load case details, click on load case details and click on add, and here it will be seismic, and I'm going to give this name as spec X, spectra X, and same spec Z. Okay, seismic and close. Now in these two load cases we will be going to add the spectra, response spectra. So this is the response spectra, and I'm going to use ISO 1890-2016. The combination method, I'm going to use SRSS, and the soil type, this is medium soil, and you can see the response spectra for period versus acceleration curve we have got for the medium soil. The damping ratio, I'm going to use 0.05, and now the direction, okay, X direction. Now I need to give a scale factor here. So the scale factor is Zi by 2R. Okay, it is. Let me write it in another ink. Okay, so it is Zi by 2R. Okay, so this Z value we have zone factor 0.36, importance factor 1.2, and 2, and response reduction factor 5. So we need to find this value. So this value is 0.0432. So we need to put this value here as an initial scale factor. So 0.0432 is the initial scale factor. I'm going to consider the torsion, the dynamic eccentricity as 1, and accidental torsion eccentricity as 0.05, means 5%. Okay, now click on add and close. Now for Z direction also, I'm going to response spectra 1890-2016, SRSS it will be medium soil, and for Z it will be 0.0432. Same torsion 1 and 0.05. Okay, so this is the accidental eccentricity. I have taken 5%. Click on add and close. So the definition of all the load cases and the specification of this one means our diaphragms will define, and now we need to define the support condition, otherwise we will not get any proper value for the support reaction. So go to create, click support, and now we're going to assign this support at the bottom. So go to view, the front view, select the node cursor and select all the nodes at the bottom. So you can see, once check whether all the nodes are selected or not. Now click on assign to selected nodes, assign yes. So you can see all the nodes we have assigned with fixer. Now go to analysis and design, okay, and define commands, and let us get, we'll be selecting all the commands we want all these things. Click on add, close, and in the post analysis, just let us consider we want the support reactions for all these nodes. Okay, the support reactions. So the load list we want, and support reactions we want, and so now we need to define these support reactions. Okay, we need to assign this support reaction. So view, again front view, select this node cursor, this nodes, and assign to selected nodes, assign yes. Now the perform analysis command is already given, so you can go with the analysis. So click on run analysis and check whether there is any error or not. If there is any error, we need to rectify this error. Most probably there will not be any error. You can see the STAT is analyzing the structure now, and it will take a bit time because we have meshed the structure. So you can see we have zero error. So go to the view output file and click on done. Now if you see the output file, so we'll be checking the base shear for the static load case, which is 628. Okay, for X also 628, and we'll be checking the response spectrum load here, and you can see now this is the scale factor 1.8692. Now when we want we need to multiply this scale factor if the load the base shear which we are getting for the response spectrum load case, okay, if this base shear is very much less than the base shear of the static load case, then we need to multiply this scale factor whichever we are getting. So we need to calculate this base shear. So it should be at least 85% nearer to the base shear of the static load case, okay, static earthquake load case. So this is 0.1053 multiplied by 5818, so it is almost 612. And if you see so it is 612, and for the fifth one it is I think almost same. So if you just 612 divided by my 628 it was for static load case, and it is almost 97%. We are getting 0.974 something like that, so it is almost nearer to 97%. So there is no need of multiplying the factor. If you want, you can multiply this factor again. So let's for showing purpose I'm going to do that. So just write this multiplying factor somewhere. So for X direction it is 1.3773. Okay, write it here. So the multiplication factor for X direction it is 1.3773, and for Z direction it is, let's check it. For this is for X direction, and for Z direction it is 1.8692. You see the multiplying factor. When we will be getting this one when our dynamic base shear is less than static base shear, then we need to multiply this factor to scale up the dynamic base shear up. So it was 1.8692. So these values we need to multiply with the value of this one, the our initial base shear. It was initial scale factor. Our initial scale factor. Okay, so this with this value we need to multiply the multiplication factor of X and Z. So let's do it again. Go to loading and load case details, inspect X. If you edit this one, so with this one it will be 0.0432 multiplied by, let's check, for X direction it is 37773, and we are getting the value of 0.595. For X direction it is 0.595. okay, sorry, 0.0595, 0.0595, and modify, yes, and close. Now for Z, let's come in the Z direction, edit, and it will be 0.0432 multiplied by what is the value. I think I have closed the one node. So okay, let's just see from here. 1.8692. So 1.8692. So the value is 0.081. Okay, 0.081. Now modify and close. Now again go to analysis and design and okay, analysis and design, and if you run the analysis, I think we need to save the structure first. Save it here. Okay, so this close this analysis is up. Now then only you can run the analysis. So run the analysis. So it was not needed because our dynamic base shear, it was a little less than the static base shear, but it was almost 97% closer to it. So it was not needed. Still we have done this, not an issue. So if it is almost near to 85%, so there is no need of scale it up, and that's totally your wish if you want to make it more closer. It is as per the code 1893. It is written this. Okay. So if you go to the view output file, I'm going to show something else. So if you are just look at this bookmarks. I think I have signed. Let's close it and it is analysis output. Yeah, so we're going to close this one. Yeah, so here I'll be checking the participation factor now. So you can see we are not getting any scale factor. Okay, so now we need to check the participation, modal participation. By default, the StatPro has taken 6 number of modes, and as per code, at least at least there should be one mode with 90% of mass participation. So we are seeing that the 6th mode has 90% of mass participation in both the planned directions x and y. Okay, so this is for the response spectrum in x direction. If you check the response spectrum in y direction, sorry, z direction, you can see, yeah, same case for 6th mode we have the 90%. So there is no need of changing the number of modes. If you are not getting 90% here, so you need to increase the number of modes. Okay, so how you can increase the number of modes? Let's go to analysis and design, miscellaneous commands. If you go to cutoff mode shape, you can see 6 is the default value, and you can change it. So I'll keep it like that. Now if you go to the post processing, I'll select all these nodes. You can see, just to change the view. Okay, so you can see spec, this is deflection. So deflection due to spec Z, response spectrum load. I have just increased the scale, so you can see the deflected shape for x direction and z direction. Okay, for EX, EZ also you can check. Okay, and if you can check the displacement also. Displacement. Okay, deflection, let's check it is for dead load. So this is the deflection due to dead load, yeah, and live load is very less. So you can check the deflection and the deflection due to dead load and live load, and after that you can check the moments here. Okay, you can check the moments MZ. This is for live load. If you just increase the scale by pressing Ctrl and scrolling your mouse, you can see the bending moment diagram here. For dead load, it will be more, yeah. So this is the bending moment diagram for every beam. Okay, you can see the beam stresses. Just select any beam, double click, you can see, select any beam, you can see all the values: shear bending, deflection, okay, loading. So you can see at every point what is the value here, it is changing here. You can print this, and after that what you can see the plate stresses. Okay, enhanced field, and I want maximum bottom principal measure stress for dead load, and apply. And it will take some time to create the graphical representation. Yeah, you can see it's a very colorful graphical representation with the values here for plate stress. Okay, now you can change it for live load and apply. And you can check these values. Okay, you click on close, and yeah, so that's all. Now we'll be checking the dynamic results. So I'm going to reduce the scale actually. So this is the first mode, and this first mode is coming translational. Okay, let's check the second mode for us. Yeah, in the second mode we have some rotation, and yeah, in the third mode. So you can check all the mode shapes, and I'm not going to discuss more regarding this modal analysis in this video. In my further video I'm going to explain the modal analysis also in StatPro in depth. Okay, so these are the different mode shapes. There are so many checks in modal analysis also, and I'm going to discuss all these things in the later videos. So I hope you guys will follow me, and you guys will subscribe and stay tuned. So this is the dynamic results value. Okay, so like that we can analyze static analysis, and we can do the dynamic analysis, which is a response vector analysis of a structure. And we can define the mass diaphragms. So that's all for today. As I have given my words, I have kept my words, but I expected from you guys more support. It was told to all of you that if I'm getting 3K subscribers in my channel, then I'm going to post this video. But without 3K subscribers also, I'm going to post this. I have uploaded this video, so I hope you guys will like this video. You guys can learn more about the advanced topics in StatPro. And in my further video I'm going to show how to design and detail these structural members in RCDC, which is Advanced Concrete Design Software. Okay, so I just expect from all of you more and more support, so that I get more energy to create such advanced topics, videos on advanced topics. And without the support of all of you, it's not possible actually. It's really not possible. And whoever is subscribing me, following me for a long time, thank you all of you. And if you are new in my channel, please do subscribe my channel. And if you like this video, please give a thumbs up. And if you have any doubt regarding this structure analysis, instead just put your doubt in the comment. I'll try to solve it from my side. And so stay tuned for the next video. I'll be uploading this video very soon. And yeah, I'll keep posting more and more videos if I'm getting more response from you guys. It totally depends on all of you. If I'm getting more engagement, more subscribers. Subscribers means more engagement, right? It is a way of communication to all of you that I'm getting more response, so I should make more videos. I hope all of you will like this video, and I'll try to improve more and more in my further videos. And that's all. Thank you all of you.